Tonight, breaking news as we come on the air in the West. President Biden and his historic Oval Office address just moments ago. Also tonight, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressing Congress. The violent clashes outside. The fire at JFK Airport in New York, several people hurt. And the deadly crash on I-95, multiple tractor trailers and vehicles. First tonight, President Biden speaking to the American people for the first time since dropping out of the race for president, defining this historic moment and his decision, vowing to now fight for Vice President Kamala Harris, who was on the trail again today. Mary Bruce standing by at the White House. Also at this hour, Donald Trump back on the campaign trail in Charlotte, North Carolina, for the first time since President Biden bowed out. Trump's new line of attack tonight, and Trump lashing out over the fact that he now faces a new challenger. Rachel Scott live in Charlotte. The welcome and the protest Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's address to a joint meeting of Congress, fiercely defending Israel's actions with Gaza with no mention of a ceasefire. The violent clashes outside, Martha Raddatz and Matt Gutman both there. The attempted assassination of Donald Trump, and tonight here the new video just released from the moments right after the shots were fired. And today the FBI Director revealing that the gunman had looked up how far Lee Harvey Oswald was from John F. Kennedy. And tonight, the FBI Director's new warning about the threat level right now in this country. The scare at JFK Airport, the fire in the terminal, multiple passengers raced to the hospital. Just in, the horrific crash on I-95, 2 tractor trailers, 2 vehicles, at least 5 dead, what we're learning. Tonight, the storms from Texas all the way up to New York, heavy rain and flash flooding possible in some areas. Ginger Z is standing by with the forecast. And in New York City, the baby sharks, many of them in the water. You'll see them and why they're being studied very closely.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. As we come on the air in the West tonight, we do begin tonight with President Biden's historic Oval Office address just a short time ago. The president, for the first time, addressing to the nation from the Oval Office his decision to end his bid for re-election. A wrenching and personal decision for the president after more than 5 decades in public service. The election is now just 104 days away, and tonight the president using this address not as a rally, but to define this historic moment, to explain his decision and to lay out what he aims to do to, quote, finish the job in his final 6 months in office. The president saying he's determined to get as much done as he can at home and abroad, including negotiating a ceasefire in Gaza and a hostage deal. Part of finishing the job, he says, he will now fight for Vice President Kamala Harris and that he will now campaign for her. ABC's Mary Bruce leading us off at the White House.
My fellow Americans.
Tonight, President Biden in the Oval Office, coming before the American people, explaining for himself why he dropped out of the race and making one thing clear: his presidency is not over yet.
I revere this office, but I love my country more. It's been the honor of my life to serve as your president. But in the defense of democracy, which is at stake, I think it's more important than any title. I draw strength and I find joy in working for the American people. But this sacred task of perfecting our union is not about me. It's about you, your families, your futures. It's about we, the people. And we can never forget that. And I never have.
The president well aware this is a moment for the history books.
America's going to have to choose between moving forward or backward, between hope and hate, between unity and division. We have to decide, do we still believe in honesty, decency, respect, freedom, justice, and democracy?
Sending this message to the American people.
America's an idea. An idea stronger than any army, bigger than any ocean, more powerful than any dictator or tyrant. It's the most powerful idea in the history of the world. That idea is that we hold these truths to be self-evident. We're all created equal, endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights: life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. We've never fully lived up to it, to this sacred idea, but we've never walked away from it either. And I do not believe the American people will walk away from it now.
With Biden passing the torch, tonight Vice President Harris with this salute.
He has extraordinary determination and profound compassion for the people of our country.
Just 3 days into her campaign, Harris today addressing a large gathering of one of the nation's historically black sororities, knowing well that black women could determine this race.
Now, in this moment, our nation needs your leadership once again. In this moment, I believe we face a choice between two different visions for our nation. One focused on the future, the other focused on the past. And with your support, I am fighting for our nation's future.
She only mentioned Trump by name once, but the central theme of her campaign now coming into focus. Harris arguing Trump represents the past and she is the future.
Across our nation, we are witnessing a full-on assault on hard-fought, hard-won freedoms and rights. The freedom to vote, the freedom to be safe from gun violence, and the freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government telling her what to do. These extremists want to take us back, but we are not going back. We are not going back.
And tonight, both Kamala Harris and President Biden making it clear that though they are no longer running mates, they are still very much in this fight together, both publicly vowing to do everything they can to preserve Americans' freedom and protect democracy from another Trump presidency. David.
Mary Bruce at the White House tonight. Mary, thank you. Meantime, tonight, former President Trump back on the campaign trail in Charlotte, North Carolina, the first time since the president dropped out of the race. Tonight, Trump's new line of attack targeting Vice President Kamala Harris and lashing out over facing a new challenger now. Rachel Scott from Charlotte.
With the eyes of the world on the White House, tonight in North Carolina, Donald Trump plowing ahead with his campaign, taking the stage for the first time since Sunday's political earthquake. President Biden out of the race. Vice President Kamala Harris, now Trump's new opponent.
Kamala Harris is unfit to lead. She's unfit to lead. She'll destroy our country in a year.
Trump, who spent years attacking Biden, now quickly trying to recalibrate to focus on Harris, zeroing in on her role in the administration. Harris tasked with addressing the root causes of migration at the southern border.
With all of the things they've done wrong, everything, the borders are. When you look at how bad they are, you say, you know, I like Trump, but now I really like Trump because we don't want to go back.
But several Republican members of Congress now taking aim at Harris's identity as the first woman of color to serve as vice president, labeling her a DEI hire, shorthand for diversity, equity, and inclusion.
I think she was a DEI hire.
100%. She was a DEI hire.
Sources tell ABC News House Speaker Mike Johnson has privately warned Republicans to stop.
This is not personal with regard to Kamala Harris. And her ethnicity or her gender have nothing to do with this whatsoever.
Today in the New York Times, Hillary Clinton writing of Harris, I know she can defeat Donald Trump. But Clinton adding, I know a thing or two about how hard it can be for strong women candidates to fight through the sexism and double standards of American politics. Noting Harris will face unique additional challenges as the first black and South Asian woman to be at the top of a major party's ticket. And on social media, Clinton showing this 2021 clip of Trump's running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, disparaging Harris for not having children.
We're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. And it's just a basic fact. You look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children.
Hillary Clinton's reaction, what a normal, relatable guy who certainly doesn't hate women having freedoms. But here in North Carolina, Trump supporters we spoke to say they're worried about the new excitement Harris could bring to the race.
So you think it could be more of a challenge for Trump that Harris is on the ticket?
I do. Yeah, I do. I think Harris will. Like I say, I think she'll bring new life into the party for the Democrats. And looking at, the last couple of weeks or couple of months especially, how everything's gone haywire, they're going to try to find unity in it. And I think that she'll, give them that lift.
Donald Trump wanted to run against President Biden. In fact, he has spent days attacking him, even though he's already dropped out of the race. Tonight, he's trying to switch gears to focus on Vice President Kamala Harris, taking her on the issues of immigration and the border. David.
Rachel Scott right there in Charlotte for us. Rachel, thank you. Meantime, on Capitol Hill tonight, the welcome and the protests with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressing a joint meeting of Congress, making the case for continued U.S. support for the war in Gaza, saying, quote, "Give us weapons faster, we'll finish the job faster." His address met with a warm welcome in the chamber, but dozens of lawmakers were no-shows, including Vice President Harris and Senator J.D. Vance. While outside, protesters clashed with police. Matt Gutman was in the middle of those protests. Martha Raddatz tonight on the speech.
It was a thunderous, largely Republican welcome, with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu offering a full-throated defense of Israel's war in Gaza and no mention of a ceasefire.
Our enemies are your enemies. Our fight is your fight, and our victory will be your victory.
There was a sizable contingent of Democrats in the chamber, but dozens of high-profile lawmakers, including Nancy Pelosi, skipped the event. Vice President Kamala Harris, who would normally preside, and Senator J.D. Vance not in attendance due to scheduling conflicts. Netanyahu tried to bridge the divide in an emotional moment, introducing rescued hostage Noah Argamini, who had been seized during the horrific October 7th Hamas massacre. The Israeli leader praising not only President Biden, who traveled to the war zone just days after the attack.
I thank President Biden for his heartfelt support for Israel after the savage attack on October 7th. He rightly called Hamas sheer evil.
But former President Trump as well.
I also want to thank President Trump for all the things he did for Israel.
Yet it is clear why Netanyahu came. With more than 39,000 Palestinians killed by the Israelis in Gaza, according to the Hamas Health Ministry, and hundreds of thousands facing starvation, Netanyahu is appealing to Americans to stand firm in what he frames as a battle between good and evil.
Israel will fight until we destroy Hamas's military capabilities, end its rule in Gaza, and bring all our hostages home.
Netanyahu will meet separately with Kamala Harris and President Biden tomorrow and then fly to Mar-a-Lago to meet with Donald Trump on Friday. This as U.S. officials say they are making serious progress on a deal to free the hostages. David?
Martha, thank you. And as you know, Martha, thousands gathered in Washington to protest the Prime Minister's address and demand an end to the war in Gaza. Matt Gutman was there.
Tonight, as Israel's prime minister was addressing Congress, just blocks away, clashes erupting between some pro-Palestinian protesters and the police.
Right now, these protesters are trying to break through this line of police.
There was shoving, projectiles were thrown, and Capitol Police deployed pepper spray, saying protesters failed to obey police orders to retreat. It had started peacefully, thousands thronging the Capitol Hill area, demanding an end to the war in Gaza and Benjamin Netanyahu's arrest. Blocking their route to the Capitol, where Netanyahu was speaking, were miles of barricades backed by thousands of officers, including SWAT teams. The march stalling at Union Station, where protesters began pulling American flags down from the flagpoles. Officers moved in and were swarmed by the crowd.
The flag there on the ground was on the flagpole here at Union Station a few moments ago, but protesters here lit it on fire, as well as that effigy of Benjamin Netanyahu.
Police eventually removing the Palestinian flags raised above Union Station.
And David, before leaving protesters to face that bell behind me and that memorial, and you might see a few of them left behind here. But for the most part of the day, they marched demanding an end to the war in Gaza, an end to the blockade, and the arrest of Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu. David.
Matt Gutman, our thanks to you as well. We have new reporting tonight involving the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. The new video just released from the moments right after those shots were fired. And the FBI director revealing just today that the gunman had looked up how far Lee Harvey Oswald was from John F. Kennedy. Here's Pierre Thomas.
There's a ladder right here. Tonight, the chilling new video obtained by ABC News, showing the frantic moments after the attempted assassination of former President Trump. You see officers climbing to the roof, finding the shooter's lifeless body about 400 feet from the stage.
We have one shooter deceased. I think it's 3 victims.
And stunning new details. FBI Director Christopher Wray on the Hill today, revealing Thomas Matthew Crooks' search for information about the JFK assassination 1 week before the rally in Pennsylvania. the very same day he signed up to attend the rally.
On July 6th, he did a Google search for, quote, how far away was Oswald from Kennedy?
Wray saying on the day of the rally, the gunman flew a drone for 11 minutes, apparently to survey the site, 2 hours before opening fire.
The shooter was flying the drone around the area, not over the stage, I would say about 200 yards, give or take, away.
Officer. And as questions remain over the failure to spot the shooter's assault-style rifle, tonight officials saying that gun, also seen in this helmet video, had a collapsible stock, making it easier to conceal and carry.
The director says he worries about the potential for more political violence and the potential for terrorism, domestic and international, right here at home, David.
That warning that still exists, Pierre, thank you. In New York City tonight, the alarming scene for travelers as smoke filled a terminal at JFK Airport. Authorities say the fire on an escalator, it was about 7:15 this morning, setting off alarms and clouds of smoke. 9 passengers were treated for smoke inhalation, at least 4 taken to the hospital. It happened in Terminal 8. Multiple airlines were impacted, more than 200 flights delayed. We turn now to the flood threat and severe storms from Texas all the way up to the Northeast tonight. Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z right back here with us. Hi, Ginger.
Hi, David. We've been watching that pesky stationary front all week. Just dropped tons of rain along it. We also had the severe storms along the cold front, western New York, Pennsylvania, parts of Ohio. But look at that stationary front with flood watches from Houston through Beaumont, which, by the way, is more than 20 inches above average year to date for rainfall, so they certainly don't need it. But a significant risk for flash flooding all the way through Lake Charles, much of South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia. Now, I want to quickly talk about the heat, but also the air quality. Places like Billings, Montana could see records today and tomorrow. But David, Denver had some of the worst air quality in the last 24 hours in the whole world.
All right, Ginger Z back with us. Thanks, Ginger. To the economy now. The market's down today after disappointing earnings from Tesla and Google. The tech-heavy NASDAQ falling 3.64%, the worst day since October 2022. The Dow and S&P also sharply down. When we come back here, the horrific crash on I-95 in the east. 2 tractor trailers, 2 vehicles, at least 5 people killed. More in a moment. And the sharks in the waters right off New York City. Tonight, I-95 remains shut down in Wilson County, North Carolina, following a devastating crash. At least 5 people were killed in this collision here involving 2 tractor trailers and 2 passenger vehicles. One of the trucks going up in flames. Traffic is still backed up for miles tonight. When we come back here, the Summer Olympics about to begin, and tonight the U.S. city now named where the Winter Games will be returning to. And then those sharks off New York City, the camera now attached to one of them. To the index and the start of the Paris Olympics, 48 hours away, but Salt Lake City is now officially getting ready for the Winter Games 2034, just a decade away. The International Olympic Committee tonight awarding the Winter Games to Utah. You'll remember the city last hosted the Olympics in 2002. When we come back here tonight, a camera now attached to a shark off New York City and what is now revealing. Finally, the baby sharks just outside New York. Tonight, just off New York City's waters along Long Island's coast, scientists say it's history in the making. For the first time in the Atlantic, a team of research scientists have been able to attach a camera to a baby white shark to study them. They're hoping to attach cameras to more. Research scientist Megan Whitten.
They haven't ever hunted before. They haven't navigated these waters before. How do they do it? How do they survive? Really uncharted territory as far as white shark science goes.
It turns out hundreds of baby great white sharks live together offshore in an area known as New York Bright, a shark nursery.
Shark, he's got it. He's got it.
Using bait to catch the baby great whites, who are 4 feet long. It is careful and potentially dangerous work.
Guys, look at how close that shark was. Oh my goodness.
Eventually catching one.
Oh, that's a great hook.
Naming her Liberty after New York City's Statue of Liberty.
1, 3, 4.
Measuring her and attaching the camera.
That was so incredible.
Their groundbreaking work is being documented by NatGeo for SharkFest from ABC's parent company Disney. The camera now recording her every move. The team hoping to gain new insights on how those baby sharks live just outside New York City.
It's going to give us our first glimpse into the lives of baby white sharks in this nursery area. It's such a huge moment for shark science.
Incredible work tracking the sharks just outside New York. I'm David Muir. Thanks for being here. I'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.